European
Yeah.
for some reason. But then we've just been to um, Auckland as well. We only just got back from Auckland and walking around the NZICC.
Nice.
Mm. And I can see
Started.
what you said about the door signs because I've got my little one on Saturday and I was
Yeah, right.
doing the graphics and I was like, what the?
I know.
This is
I know.
like weird. Anyway,
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's kind of cool. For those that just started
Yeah.
watching the
Do
recording,
you want to
welcome.
fill in?
doing a
Welcome.
review of
We're
NZICC.
yes, that's right. Uh we're sort of teasing a whole bunch of topics today, which is good.
Yeah.
We've all chipped in something that we're going to talk about. Dior and I just got back from Auckland. Dior's done 3 site visits there. That was my first one, and digital signage was one of the key reasons that I was there. And unfortunately, they've got some problems, which is not unusual for a new venue.
Yeah.
But they've got some challenges with digital signage, and so but I feel like they're also making it hard because they're all non-standard sizes. It's like, and
Oh,
so which it's okay when you know
yes.
you can design the things the way you want to. But the trick with the room cards is what they call them or as ICC Sydney calls them, room information panels or RIPs. They In Sydney they're just 916. It's like it's just a simple, normal screen on its side. It's fine. In in New Zealand, in New Zealand ICC, they've got it's like 58 to 9 or something like that. Like it's really, really narrow, really tall. And
Oh.
so it's cool for graphics. Like when you look at it, they put an image on there or something and it looks really cool. But when you go to put words on it, it's actually kind of tricky because it's not really wide enough to get
Mm.
the the size that you would want of the words. And so I saw an event that was running there, and they had it running sideways. They had like the name of the room running sideways, which was was a clever way of doing it.
Mm.
But yeah. So anyway, it's going to be
Well,
a good one.
I'm glad I'm testing it with one little event because I seriously, it's hard because your marketing team produce all these assets. So you're like, oh, I just will reuse that, which is what we usually do. And then I was like,
Yeah.
ah, what am I going to do with
Oh,
all
that
this
doesn't
dead
work.
space? And I thought, oh, I'll put a
Yeah.
QR code. People can scan it and get the
There you go.
program or something. So it might look absolutely
Absolutely.
hideous. I did say to them, can you test this? Because this looks weird from my side. But yeah, I'll make sure I try and take a photo on Saturday.
Yeah, do. Yeah, yeah. No, I think that like logos down the bottom and stuff like that can work, and you could put like sponsors logos. Like you could do a little bit, but it's like the actual information that you want. How do you work that out? But anyway, yes. So that's we're excited. It's a large event that we're doing, taking over the whole building. It's a buyout, and so it's kind of a big deal. So it's interesting to walk through the whole thing and say, oh, yeah, well, how are we going to use this room and this?
Mm.
Let's move this one around and whatever it is. So,
Mm.
but that was Auckland, and a couple of days before that, Dior and I were both in Vienna for a radiology conference, and so um, it was huge. Yeah, it was nearly 4,000 presentations. Um, and so
Wow.
35 concurrent rooms and yeah, so it was really cool to see how it worked. But what was fascinating to see, I could do a show and tell another time, but of some of photos. But what was really interesting is they had a huge expo, normal sort of expo halls, multi-level, all of that. But they also had where all the little concurrent rooms were. They'll just have a sponsor that will take basically a whole floor. And so then you just have one brand that felt like you were in a whole expo hall, but it's just one brand.
Wow.
And then you'll go down and there'll be a ballroom. And again, that'll be one brand. And so it would just be like, yeah, well, I just not seen anything quite like that. to the level of sponsorship that was like, here's 50 booths, but they're all one brand, like they're all one sponsor. So it was just the sheer size of it was pretty amazing. But one other super cool thing that I like that they did, because it's like 20,000 attendees. So they had a huge registration desk. It was a big round one, and they had, like kiosks all around this round thing. So for the first 2 days, it's just like lots of people always around then. Then come in on the third day, they completely remove that whole registration desk and just put in couches, and it turns into
Mm,
like this lounge. I was like, that's a super cool idea. I really liked that. And they had a smaller registration desk the whole time, like another one which was like more information desk. Well, then
mm.
that turned into registration for day three and whatever. So I just thought that was a really cool idea. Um, and people used it. People loved it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Um, all right. I don't know who gets to go first. I think Francie, you were on first,
I've got a
so
time limit, so I do want to jump on.
go for it.
And again, expecting that this could be a no one can help me situation. Feel like I bring those to the party. Um, so I am using the presentation portal for awards nominations and voting, judging, which I know is a pretty
Of
common
course you
thing.
are.
Of course I am. No,
Yeah,
it's pretty
yeah,
common. It's pretty common.
yeah.
Now, and I've got. Has anyone done it? Who's on at the moment? Has anyone? You have?
Oh,
Okay, great. Love you,
reluctantly.
Lisa. Thank you for being on here.
But Kelly will know my trauma from
Oh,
Friday.
Oh no.
so yes, but please don't talk to me about it.
No, 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 no. I just wish
Um,
Events Air would produce one.
yeah, right.
Mm.
Yes, that was rather than having to, yeah, utilize something that you've got to change all the wording and kind
Yeah,
of figure stuff out. So the way that I've done it is that I have created custom fields for the nominator's details. And then the nominee becomes the actual contact in terms of first name, last name, because you want them to be the actual person in the system, which works fine. And then we're going to have them sent a presentation portal because, or access to one because it's then in these awards, the nominee then has to fill out
yeah,
answers to questions and then they get judged. So that side of things, easy. The one that I'm challenged with is that we have, so they're like organization nominations. The one that I'm having challenge with is we've got two like people nominations, as in, so we have a good sort of the year and a
Individuals.
something else. And in those situations, it's just the nominator who fills stuff in
Mm.
rather than nominator then nominee, because they're just nominating a person. I assumed that I'd kind of do a similar thing, but actually just have the create a new presentation portal so that the contact details information form becomes the initial contact details and then the questions go into the presentation portal. Would that make sense? So then they can still be judged. That makes sense, doesn't it?
yeah,
I think I just needed to talk it through with people who understood.
yeah. I think ours, so I have 6 different portals set up because we
Yeah,
have different awards with different categories and
yeah,
different criteria for
yeah,
then the judges. So it just made sense to make separate ones.
yeah,
Um, but for all of ours, the onus is for the nominee to finish the submission.
yeah, yeah.
We do have one award that they, the nominees are always the ones that are like, oh, I'm sure there's someone more deserving and don't actually want to. So we
Fill it
did
in. Yeah,
change it that for when the nominator nominates a person, we
yeah,
set it up with a lot more, but it was an interactive form, so it probably
yeah,
wouldn't work for your thing. But we put in a whole lot of marketing things like questions of, so that we got a bit more data from the nominator of why they nominated this person, so
Yes.
that then to convert them when they said, oh, I'm not worthy, we could say, we couldn't disclose who nominated them, but we could say, oh, the
Yep.
person said this and this and this.
Yep.
So there's nothing to say you couldn't do that
So
in the
we've got that
portal.
in our
Yeah.
interactive site for the organizations, where it's like, tell us why you want to nominate and can we share who you are and your comments. So
Yeah.
that's
Great.
something that they get to choose whether they're sharing that. And then the tricky thing, because I was trying to automate the process, but they nominate an organization. Yeah, I know, right, Kelly? Give me
I know.
the awards! Give me the awards!
Kelly, it
Cannot
happens so
relate.
much. It happens so much.
Yeah.
That's why we changed the process to ask
Yeah.
more questions.
Yeah. So that works for the organizations. And yeah, and so that was the thing I was trying to figure out, whether to ask those questions in the portal. But I think because it needs to be judged,
Judge, you have to
they
have it
need
in
to
the
be in the portal rather than in the interactive site. And yeah, we've got at least 3 different, possibly 4 or 5 different portals that we're going to have because of the different criteria.
Yeah. But it's
And
worth
the
the
different,
effort. Like to set
yeah,
it up the first time, I
yeah,
remember it was a huge task to kind of
yeah,
do it. And every year I
yeah,
probably finessed it a bit. And I know like the judging panel were like, what is this, Lisa? Like, and I'm like, don't worry. And it was lucky that a couple of them had been like reviewers for abstracts. So they
yeah,
were like,
right.
oh, yeah, I get it.
I
So
recognize this. Yeah.
yeah, so there was a lot of like how-tos and sort of teaching them through the first year, whereas now they're all like, oh, this is fantastic. Like,
Yeah, right.
why did we ever go? And I think from an administration side, it's so much less. Like when I first started, it used to be an email, and then you'd have to load all these documents on a share drive, and it was just a freaking nightmare. And I just went, no, Events Air
Yeah.
can do this. However, our March is our period of getting all the submissions and starting the judging. And March is, I don't know about anyone else, but March has become our March madness.
Yeah, right.
And I needed to look at what's on my, what needs my expertise. And I never really understood why the awards sat with the events team. But I think prior to me starting, the conference used to sit with a PCO. So I think the events person probably had a lot of time to do awards. So I kind of had to look at my workload and go, you know what? And I think I asked, Kelly, who sits in my allied health group, who manages it for you guys? Oh, member services. So I have handed my baby to member services. And look, it's quite good because a lot of them I've trained how to use Events Air over the years. But this is something new for them, doing the presentation portal. Right. And nothing like a Friday at 4:45 p.m. All of a sudden, they just decided to totally delete a person's contact details with their award submission. Yeah, so that's okay. They're trying to kill my baby, but I keep trying to resuscitate them.
So is there anything that
I think
tricky?
for me, the best thing to do is look at your judging criteria first and then set your portal up based on how they're going to judge it, because that will then determine how you're going to get the submission. So it's almost like working backwards.
Yeah, right.
And the only thing to be careful of with custom fields as opposed to marketing tags on an interactive site is that you can't do multi-select options. So just bear that in mind when you're doing your questions. If you wanted to have people be able to select this, this, and this,
yeah.
I'm not going to let you do that.
Yeah, no, I only use the custom fields for the like first name, last name of the nominator. All the other stuff I put into marketing.
Yeah. The only other thing we get, and I don't understand why, is I don't know whether it's our demographic of members. They don't know how to like collate a PDF into. So we usually allow them to have 3 like supporting documents, but then they want to put 20, and they don't know how to merge them. So I think just being clear about making sure it's only. And especially for the judges, like the last thing they want to do is be opening all these attachments. So
and again, we're lucky on that because we've just got plain text.
Okay.
Just write a
we just
paragraph
allow
about some
one
stuff. So
one supporting document. Yeah. But anyway.
Cool. Thank
Good
you.
one.
That makes me feel so much better. So much more confident.
Yeah, but it
I,
is a lot of portals.
Yeah. And I mean I've set it up in the past, but it like previous life, pre-COVID that I did that. So it's been a long time and just wanting to clarify and remind myself that I'm doing things before I spend hours
I,
updating words.
yeah, you don't want to get right to the end and then realize, oh, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
This is the wrong way of doing it.
Yeah, have done.
Which
Have
we've all
done.
done. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's right. No, sounds like it's totally on
Cool.
the right track.
Thanks, Lisa.
Great.
Well, mine's dying, but
Yeah.
it's hard. It's really hard, like when you really like doing something. Like I actually really enjoy the process, but I just can't keep doing. I like to sleep. So it was a hard thing to offsort, and it's just really hard when you're, seeing it die a bit. But that's okay.
Well,
Mm.
but it's part of growing up, isn't it? Becoming an adult and actually handing off things that instead of doing everything and controlling everything,
Yeah,
delegating
yeah.
and handing
It's
off
like
to
a
someone else.
child.
And that's right. It's moving out of home.
Release it into the world.
This, this is an empty nester. Um, uh, all right. Shaun, speaking of abstracts.
Yeah. For us, we're sort of we had our own internal abstract management sort of software that we used for years and years and years. And so we've just only in the last little while started sort of looking at the presentation module and events there, because we put it off for years for some of our smaller events particularly. And yeah, just getting a handle on how it all works together. Because I'm kind of like you, Francie. I had to look at it pre-COVID, and it was like horrible and convoluted, and like I think I've spent like a week trying to wrap my head around it, and then there was no industry for 2 years, and then now we're back into it trying to figure out how it all works again. But yeah, no, I think that I'm kind of getting a handle on it. So I just wanted to sort of nip in and see what the experts here are doing with it, see if there's anything I've missed or that I've totally misunderstood, which is entirely possible. Because yeah, as I said, it's not exactly the most clear and intuitive part of events there from my experience.
Mm. I think one of the things when I train people on it is that it's built in a very specific way. And so if you do anything slightly outside of that, you kind of have to work around. I feel like Kelly's the one to be talking on this one.
Like for awards. And if you were using
Yeah,
it for awards, that
yeah,
would be
yeah.
using it outside its
Outside
intended
the box,
purpose.
yeah. No, but even so the way that it's built, the workflow that it's made to actually do is that someone submits an abstract, it's then reviewed, and the reviewer makes edits to it. It's then sent back to the person to change, who then resubmits it for reapproval or re-review, and then that kind of closes that loop. And so to not do it that way, because I mean, personally, I don't think I've ever been part of a conference when I was actually organizing conferences where there was a re-review or even,
Mm.
no
An
one
edit
made
process.
edits.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
No
it's one
one
and done,
did
isn't
that.
it?
Yeah,
Mm.
pretty much. And so, there's the exclamation mark of doom, which we all have coding to get rid of, because it freaks people out when they see an exclamation mark and it's, but yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges with it. I'm going to let Kelly go now. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say it's funny for us is only recently did we do an actual normal abstract pathway, and it was fine. It actually worked beautifully. It's like what you would expect. But we're like you. It's like we've done awards, we've done scholarship application nominations, it's a lot of this nomination stuff, which just seems to be like, at least for us, it's been like the vast majority of things we've used this for, and there's really no other part of events there that lets you do it properly with that review level. So yeah, I gotta get onto the events there, guys, to make a simpler version for this common workflow. But
Other use cases. Yeah.
yeah. 'Cause it's got potential. It just feels like it's sort of been sitting there, getting ignored for a little while they build out
It's got
APIs and stuff.
so much potential when you've got a Kelly in the room.
Funny how, Francie, you're just talking me up too much. And it's funny because you talk about the exclamation mark of doom. I ignore that. I just let that live. I haven't had too many complaints about
Oh.
that. So
You're lucky. Previous life, everyone was like, "What's me? What have I done wrong?"
What have I done wrong? Yeah. Mhm.
Are we talking about the red? I call it the Horcrux. It looks like the Harry
yeah.
Potter Horcrux. Yeah. Fleur gave me a code to remove it.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
We've all got code. We've all got the code
Yeah.
to remove it. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I agree. It's so confusing. I mean, it's touch wood. This year no one's mentioned about
well done.
it.
Lucky.
I don't know. Maybe they've all got used to it. But only because I can't get rid of the code because it seems to be because we're still using the old website. We have to put in because we did some data and found out that most people view our website either on a mobile phone or a tablet. So we really had to put all the code in to make the website and the registration pages all good. And somehow, I'm sure, Kelly and Sarah would have fantastic code, but I can't seem to ever get it to do both. Get rid of the Horcrux and keep the mobile. But anyway, that's why I'm not even going to look at it because next year we'll have the lovely new website, which I can't wait to play with.
Fingers crossed.
So
Yeah.
Kelly, I feel like Kelly's not actually talked other than saying that I've
No.
bigged her up.
What are you finding the most difficult about it, Shaun?
I think just the mental model of it all. I think because it's set up a little bit differently. You've got all those sort of the bits in the actual event setup section where you're defining documents and all all that kind of stuff, and then you've got 2 or 3 other presentation sites, and often case you have multiple presentation sites or people are submitting different kinds of presentations. It's very convoluted and very it's fine once you understand that the mental map, but then you've got to take that and pass it on to the next person in the line and say, explain how that all works. And then you've got an OC committee or something like that doesn't really want to know this for it to work. And it takes a half hour to explain properly. So, I find for the clients we've done it before, they're kind of like, yep, straight ahead, off we go. But the ones where it's a new thing, it's like a whole morning session to explain how this is all going to work, sort of thing. So
I guess it's the same thing as kind of the awards, as if you work backwards from your review rubric, understanding what details you need to capture then makes it a whole lot easier, because I've done it the other way a couple of times and burnt myself that way. So knowing to do it backwards makes it a whole lot easier to get the right data the first time. So surprise for those that don't know, I'm actually at SPA now, so I'm the new Sarah Allen.
Oh,
Has she had the baby yet?
congrats.
Well done.
Because
Has
she's
she had the baby, Kelly?
I was going to say, I
not
assume
just
she's
yet.
No.
Yeah, okay.
left because of
Wow.
baby, impending baby rather than anything else.
Impending
Correct,
baby.
yes. Impending
Jesus.
baby. Baby is still loading. Hi, Sarah, if
This is
you're
a
watching.
spinning wheel.
Spinning. Oh my God, we need to put that on like a card or something
Have you
for her.
seen have you seen the belly painting things that were really
Oh,
popular 10 years ago?
Oh,
Just
yes.
the EA spinning wheel on. Don't murder me, Sarah.
Oh, amazing.
Anyway, so yes.
Wow.
And so the way that SPA does it, Shaun, is we, and also my previous place, because I stole basically everything that Sarah was doing and implemented it there as well, is they did 2 submission processes. So they got the initial information, they just reviewed that, and then once presenters are accepted, we go back to them and ask additional questions, because obviously there's limitations on how many custom fields you can add to the portal, all sorts of that kind of stuff. So it makes it a bit slightly more convoluted, but like a bit more streamlined, particularly in the ways of like getting people to accept what they've been offered or decline what they've been offered, getting additional like the actual presenting author's details rather than like sometimes an abstract can have 10 people that have contributed, but like we don't need their contact details. We don't need a contact record for them in Events Air because we just need their like honorific basically for abstracts and things like that. So they've really broken down that process into 2 steps, which makes it a lot more clearer both on the reviewers because they only see what they need to review, not any other details, and also makes it just a little bit simpler to accept the abstracts at the end of the stage. But yeah, it is a very multi-step process and it does take time to figure out. But the good news is usually once you set it up once, it can be replicated fairly quickly and cloned year on year. And you don't lose your code. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is I'm not losing any of Sarah's code because I don't have to redo it again.
Yeah, you'll be happy that you're in Sarah's instance of Events Air, that you can just clone things that you had already rebuilt in your other in the other system. Yeah.
I know. I kind of wanted to call Event Sarah and be like, with Sarah's permission, could you just clone across it to my tenant? That'd be great. Thank you.
I know. I was asking about that just recently, and apparently there is no way of doing it.
No.
But back in the day, it used to be like with Events Pro, it used to be you could just export, save the file, right?
Oh,
Because it was like
really?
we could just export out and then just import it into another. Like if they've got a file, then you can just send the
Yeah,
file to
nice.
someone else, and here you go, import, away you go.
No
The
wonder
thing from
Event Sarah was so many code lines.
yeah, exactly. The thing
I
for me,
really,
Shaun, from a dev, like have approached a lot of the stuff from a dev point of view, where I think of how the data is stored, and that's helped me a lot to understand some of it. For us, our biggest use case has been for e-poster submission, and so what was interesting is that we've just helped change it with a client, but they were just so used to just paper review process. It was like print them all out, get a bottle of wine, and then away they go. And they scribble all over it and they work it out. And so to the point everyone's saying about looking at that review process and working backwards is so key, because it was, how do we want the actual abstract data to be so that we can print it easily, was the point. So like I've heard in our use case, we wanted it as plain text. We wanted the document, the supporting document, or the abstract text to be just text, so that you can click on create abstract book and it just creates the book as a single doc, Word doc, and now you print it out and it's fine. Whereas I've heard Fleur talk about, they much prefer creating an attachment model, so that people can attach a Word doc, as an example, with all of the layout and everything. They kind of give a template and then say, fill this all in. And so that can be a helpful process as well. If, like, the interesting thing for me on that was that creating a template and giving it to them as a Word doc and then them filling that all out meant that they didn't have to go and create a bunch of custom fields and different ways of doing it through the abstract portal. It could just be the document itself. But now you've got, depending on how many, submissions you get, you've now got all these Word docs. And if you're working online, review process, that's not so bad. All the reviewers just go in, they open that supporting document, they see it all, and potentially they can make changes or whatever, and then push it back. And it's actually quite an easy process.
So
But it depends.
oh,
Yep.
I was going to say, jumping in on that, and again, this is pre-COVID. I haven't done it since then. The problem that
Nothing's
we used
changed.
to have, that's kind of what I assumed.
Yeah.
The problem that we used to have all the time, people would either submit as PDF,
Right.
and they don't download easily in terms of anything. Like if you pull the abstract book, you have to actually
Yeah.
go and copy and paste the PDF text.
Ouch.
And we used to get people who would change the template and
Yeah.
change the font
Of
and
course.
change this and that. So that's
Of
why
course.
we always tried to go to plain text, because
Plain
it meant
text.
that we could. But then we had challenges because we did some scientific conferences and they needed like
Formatting,
Special
subscript
characters.
and special character stuff, which you can do in the text document, but it So I mean, yeah.
It's like, there's just a little
And
bit of
then
trauma
we
there.
had a really fun, yeah, I know, right? We had a real fun, I think it was physics, where we had to have a
Yeah.
Linux document that they could upload as well. So we couldn't
Yeah. Wow.
actually access them because none of us had the capability of opening
Oh
up this
yeah.
document, because they needed to include certain, I think it was graphs or diagrams or something that you could only get in this particular. Anyway, it was
Mm.
just, yeah.
We. I remember the scientific um, uh, symbols and things that some obviously lots of fonts wouldn't show it properly, and I remember
Yeah.
opening someone's document and it just had bicycle, like little bicycle was what, and I was like, is this a new symbol I'm not aware of? The little bicycle. Um,
The new
Clearly it was.
physics,
Yeah,
one
that's
of the
right.
new
Yeah.
concepts that have been created.
Yeah. But the other thing I mentioned as well is just like the paper status is so
Yeah.
key because it's really the life cycle of that submission.
Yeah.
And what there isn't is really there's no standard for paper status names. And I think that is one of the trickier spots, I think, Sean, when it's like the design of the system is there isn't a standard where it's like, oh, these are the submitted is a paper status and, review or pending review or whatever it is. None of those exist, meaning you have to create those paper statuses first
Mm.
and design your own flow.
Yeah, I think actually that's one of the areas where we struggled quite a bit because it's like you said, you're
Yeah.
expecting it, and everyone's looking for that reviewed flag or something like that, and
Yeah.
it's well to even figure out that you need to set a paper status, and it's not until you go in there and then everything just falls over and fails, and then, like I said, the mental model needs to be updated, and yeah, I mean that was a huge one. I know when we first started out, like just trying to figure out what to do with it.
Totally.
It's just
Yeah.
weird. There isn't like a default 2 or 3
Yeah.
that are there, you know?
Yeah, which really which sucks for me when I've built all these extra things that use the API that kind of like I want to know here's the paper status. It's like no, because now we have these random other paper stats that people have come up with. It's like accepted but not really, or
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
We're thinking about reviewing
accepted
it.
sort of.
Yeah, yeah,
Thinking about accepting this,
yeah.
it's like yeah, so all those ones it does make it annoying, but working backwards from that and saying okay, yeah, it looks like we really need 4 different statuses and these are what they're going to be and as simple as and clear as they can be. But I think that is an example of where the system is is not intuitive, that it's not like, oh, this is an obvious simple way to use it.
Yeah.
No, actually, it needs to be built first, designed first,
Yeah.
and then away it goes, which makes it flexible, but it doesn't make it accessible.
Yeah, no, that's right. I think too, because you also have multiple types of uses for these things, it's hard to sort of go, like, here's a master version that we just use for everything. Because I find like from event to event, there's always those little differences, just enough that it'll break the entire workflow, and you got to basically build from scratch as well. So yeah, well, that's what we found. We've got e-posters and nominations and that sort of stuff, and they're just different enough to make it unstandardizable, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
So you're always building this from scratch every time we do it, which is, yeah, a bit annoying, but
it is annoying. Yep.
good
Agreed.
practice though.
Onto the status, has anyone worked out how to make statuses not appear on the website. So, for example, we might go live with the program, go live with speakers, and then all of a sudden a speaker drops out. I'm sure everyone's experienced that. And then we'll go out and invite a new one. And we usually have the status as invited, waiting to reply. But that speaker will show up, even though they haven't actually accepted it. So I'm trying to remind my CPD team are fantastic and help out with it.
Isn't it that
Yeah,
you
you
filter
filter
on
that,
paper
yeah.
status?
Yeah.
I think because we use the event info site, because our program's too big,
Yeah.
in the event info site, I can't go via paper status for that one.
Ah.
I think you can definitely if you use the normal speaker agenda
Yeah.
in the website, but in the event
Yeah.
info site, I can't.
But it's not showing rejected then or whatever, right?
No, which is weird. Or declined, it doesn't. Yeah, it's
somewhere
just,
you got to be able to choose
yeah. And maybe it's
choose
one of
which
those
ones
things
to
of,
exclude.
yeah, and now that I'm not doing awards, I might have more time to actually look at this next year.
I
Yeah, you're an
reckon
empty.
that filter will be where in the workflow you set the statuses that are accepted
Yeah.
and then the statuses that are rejected. So maybe, Lisa, you have to put invited waiting response as a rejected field.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good
And
tip.
then it might not show there and until they do respond, and then you can put it through. And annoyingly, it's like you might need to unsync once you get to that fiddly swapping stage, so that it doesn't appear.
I mean, it doesn't happen all the time. It's just one of those little things that you're like, you don't really want them shown on the website until they've. But yeah, we just don't even we don't give them a status, and then it doesn't seem to show up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. If I said a client show up in the office, I'm going to have to be dragged out to a meeting. So lovely meeting you all.
Nice to meet you all.
Join you again
Nice
another
to
one
have you,
soon.
Shaun.
But yeah, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
No
Take
worries. See ya. I wanted to ask who gamification do you all use gamification?
I hate it. But I have had to use it.
We're being recorded, Francie.
Yeah, I know. Oh no, this is just a personal thing. This is not even events here. I just hate gamification. I mean, I used to have conversations whenever Alec, we all love Alec.
Yes.
And he would be so hyped up about gamification. I'm like, dude, I just can't. I just can't. And I get it. The reason I have an immediate trauma response is because I do an app for a conference, and they use it for the passport, and I just find it really frustrating that you can't like bulk change the goals, or if you can, please tell me, because like I noticed that I wanted to put the logos, no, not the logos, because it has to be individual, but like to bulk add the points that they get, or like when everything's the same, I'd love to be able to just say, almost like an import. Here's the names. Here's this. They've all got 50 points, anyway.
Because you got to create it for every stand.
You got to create every single one, which, I mean, I'm lucky and there's only like 50 stands, I think. But, if you went any more than that, I'd be like, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, which it's a shame that you can obviously export results. If you could import, I totally agree.
Yeah. The fact that, with every single one, you have to create it separately. And I get that every title is different, but like I say, it'd be nice to be able to say, okay, these are all, this type of goal, and it's this many points and this limit. It's literally duplicating the goal. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can add from a library.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not really,
unless you had all the same exhibitors and things, and it was like that.
Yeah, my pet peeve with gamification is because we still run a hybrid. not a dirty word. It's coming back, isn't it? Isn't that what everyone said? Is I would love to have, because for for a virtual delegate, I want them to engage, but they can't have the same gamification as an in-person,
Yeah.
because, well, we don't have a virtual exhibitor booths because they were really stupid ideas. Well, sorry, some people might find they work, but they don't really work. So that's not something. So I would love that if I could have, like, in the one event, two different
sets of
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we do something really, it feels naff, but, like, we just do it where, whoever submits like the most like funny or interesting photo of them live streaming the event, but
yeah.
so then they just have to email it through. But I would love it that I could put gamification for a virtual or for an in-person. That would be my joy would be if it was that.
So
but I know we're also an
so you
anomaly
have
that not many
separate
people do
leaderboard.
it. Yeah.
That's
I mean, some
interesting.
things would be exactly the same,
Yeah.
but not everything.
Yeah. Like you don't want to do a passport for virtual attendees.
No.
Yeah, we had someone say that they wanted to reset every day, so have a leaderboard for every day,
Ugh.
which I think is doable. You have I've played around because I hadn't played around much before, but clearly the export results that's everything. When I look at that document, it seems to be everything that you need. And so clearing points after the day.
Yeah, right.
So, of course, I was conscious, like, as soon as I start going into airport with Lisa, she turns off. It's like, oh, that's great for you.
I
but I
don't
built,
switch off at all. It's more now. I just find, and this was actually my topic for today, was about cloning or not cloning. Anyway, I'll talk about that later. Is more that
okay.
I know that this is what's coming, and that's what frustrates me. Is I just want it now.
Well, yeah, that's right. Fair enough. I mean, these are things that something like this is probably not something that Events Area is going to build out anytime soon. But the point was, I just built up something that takes that that export file, and then just displays like summaries so that we actually have the points, so that we can, because that document is really just a log, that export. You
Yeah.
don't actually get the summary. You don't get a leaderboard.
Yes.
So I'm like, so then show me who the leaders are, and then I just was like, and then show me what their totals were for each thing, because this is a nice way to audit it, right? Is you can say, how did they get 9,000 points? And then click on it and see, oh yeah, so they made all these contacts. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
right.
great. So then the thing that is nice then is that we can then see what most people are doing, how those points have worked down. And it just breaks down in different days and whatever. But then I was just working it out that we upload an export for every day, and then we can do a date range, or we can say the whole event. And then you could have both, where that way you can say, here's the winner of day 2, but then here's the overall winner or something. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So that's the way that I was playing around
What's
with
this
that.
airport thing? I've obviously missed it. This
Oh, no, it's just
it's your fancy back end, like sandbox type.
Yeah, I mean, it's just using the Events Air API mostly. That actually is kind of standalone, because it's not using the API at all. It's just taking an export file and processing it and showing it on a website. So that's all that is.
Yeah, right.
But most of the other stuff that we've got, digital signage and bits and pieces, is all tied, pulling in data from the API, Events Air API. And
What
so it's a
database
suite of
manager
tools.
do you pull it into to manage the data?
So it's all a web-based system. So it's a MySQL database server,
Good
and
to
so
know.
it sits on a web server, and away it goes. Yeah, yeah. So
So this is the
yeah,
sort of thing that's available if you've got a grant, or And if you haven't got a grant, then
Well,
you just got to deal with it.
no.
If you've got ChatGPT and
Ah,
Yeah, that's right.
Google Forms, I
yeah,
just
right.
built another tool for
Yeah,
poster
nice.
voting. It approved the concept, but I haven't like tidied it up just yet. So
Wow.
Well,
uh,
and so it's a good example because that's totally all I'm doing as well. The difference was that because I have all the contact data, you'll see that their um, their registration type appeared as well as their name and their photo because
Yeah,
I
right.
have their contact data, and in the export that you get from the event stream engage, it has the internal number. Um,
Yeah, right.
which is what it's called in the database, internal number. Um, and so,
Not all right. Not ID
yeah,
number.
no, because that's different. The ID, the contact ID is a much longer, yeah,
Ah,
thing. Yeah.
right. Okay.
But internal number is the one that is used in Events Air. And so that aligns with it. And then that means that we can, so to the point, Lisa, where my head went straight away is because I've got registration data tied to those points. You could then filter by virtual or
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
you could
registration
totally do
type.
that. Yeah,
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 right.
that'd be
and
awesome.
then that way it would work. Yeah,
Yeah. I do find that when I go to Airtime, is that what it's called? The
Yeah.
Events Air
yeah,
Conference? You
yeah.
know, and Francie, I used to be one of those people that hated gamification, but when I'm a delegate, I
Oh,
love it.
100%. I love it when I'm a
That's
delegate.
funny.
But I do always find that
You're making all the contacts.
we'll always go and we'll get some new ideas or something what they're doing that then
Yeah,
to
right.
amplify our gamification. I mean, we
Yeah.
audited it last year. We had a past partnership manager that was very old school, and no, it's my passport prize. You can't change it. It has to be that. So, while we miss her, and it was great that she retired, we retired the passport program with her.
Yeah, right.
And last year was the first time that we did like some gamification, and it was just, little simple things, but it like everyone went a bit obsessed.
Yeah.
Some people were so into it. But I
Okay.
think the best thing was that the simplest point they got was by, and I think it was maybe from Events there we saw it, about being an early adapter downloading the app.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good
We
one.
like it was so many people did it, which, as we all will know, if people have already got the app before they go on site, well, it makes them getting their name tag so much easier. It saves, like, I could not believe by just doing that small
Yeah,
gamification, see you,
made a
Kelly,
huge difference.
it just drove people to do it. And we just saved ourselves so much time on the first day because everyone already had sort of sorted it.
Yeah, right.
We
I'm
did
gonna
other
have
fun
to.
things, not just
Yeah,
that, but
I'm gonna have to run shortly too. That's why I'm moving around because I'm
Right.
getting my lunch because I have another
Right.
meeting straight after.
I just
I'll
want
hang on for a little bit.
Lisa, what was your
oh no,
Yeah.
my only thing is I'm thinking of, I can't remember where it was. Someone was talking about to clone or not to clone, right?
Hmm.
Like,
That was always my thing.
yeah, and I'm actually at the stage where, I'll probably have to clone this event in early May, the big one. And I'm like, is it time to audit all of our things and just wanting to know how people have gone? Especially like if I don't, then I guess it will save me a lot of time. I won't have to go into each session of the agenda because I don't have airport and change the colours or change.
We could
And I
change that.
guess, yeah, I guess I was just wanting some opinions on those who have been brave and not cloned and started
So
afresh,
my
or
my
You go
thing
first.
usually. Oh, sorry. I'm just going to jump in because I've got to go.
Yeah, you go
yeah.
and then you
My
go.
my thing is usually that is to look at interactive sites in the first instance because obviously they're the thing that you can't clone. Um, and so I used to be totally against cloning. I was always like, no, never clone, never clone. And I've seen some instances where it is good. However, if you've been cloning for a long time, like you say, I think it's a really good thing to every now and then actually start afresh. Because it just I think particularly if you have been using coding, sometimes the coding can mess things up, I found, as they've made changes, and it just gives you that opportunity to check how you're doing
Yeah.
things, and that there's not a better way or a different way that could be
it's-
easier, particularly with component logic.
Streamlined.
I love component logic now. And that can be really helpful, just having a refresh on how you're doing things. And if you've got two screens, doing new registration forms, interactive sites isn't as bad, I think now. And also, I think you can still open two browsers. So you can even actually have, so you have one browser, you open two
Different
tabs, so you
events.
can have two
Yeah.
events open at the same time. I think all of those things, I do like cloning when you've got an event that is very similar, as long as you're really clear about getting rid of stuff that you don't use and starting again. Particularly now you can also delete merge docs. Yay.
Yeah, because it's the main thing, isn't it? It's the main thing you can't clone between events is the interactive sites.
Yeah.
Everything else you can clone. So I can go back and get the
Everything
merge
else. I
docs
think
I
there is
want.
something that I found that you couldn't. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, most like everyday things you can clone. And it just gives you that opportunity to check in that you're, like I say, that
because
whether there's
when are
different ways of
we-
doing stuff.
Because we are getting, isn't next, so we've got obviously the new website builder, isn't the next one, the interactive sites are being refreshed as well?
I don't.
No idea.
Yeah, I know that. I know it's on the roadmap. I don't know what order
Yeah.
it's
So I
in.
think that's what triggered. I went, well, maybe this is a time to be brave. And okay, thanks, Francie. You're giving me
That's all
confidence
good.
that I should just
Just
do
do it.
it. And I don't have these lovely awards hopefully next year. Well, I've done there was a lot of stages this month where I'm like, this would have just been faster for me to do myself, but
And it's always
long-term
gonna be
gain.
Always
like
the
that.
case. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's always like
You
that's
have
why
to-
we don't delegate stuff, right? Because it's easier to do yourself.
Yeah.
But if you don't go through that pain, then you'll never do
Hold you
it.
back.
All right. Okay. I'll try and be brave and I'll report back on
Good
how
luck.
Auckland goes next week. Well,
I'm sad
Yeah.
that neither of you made the trip down to the West Coast to see me.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry about that. Yeah. Or that you
Rude.
came up to see us.
I didn't know you were
That's fair.
there.
That's
I
fair.
didn't go anywhere.
Francie, do you have endometriosis? Because I need a patient.
Ah,
I can have endometriosis.
I was like, we just went really personal
Yeah.
for a moment. What was that about? I'm just taking a survey. What other
Yeah.
medical conditions do you have?
Oh, you name it. I think I've had it scanned. So
You're right.
Yeah.
there you go.
Very good.
There's disclosed who I work for. There you go.
I was just going to say, Lisa, that there is a middle ground with cloning, and that is baselining events. Like we have done that, where we've created the baseline that happens for every event, and then we use that as the thing to clone. So then it's like, here's the basic setup to give us a really good head start, but it hasn't got any specific event data in it. It's just got all the things that we always do on every event. And so then we clone that. But there's pros and cons to that as well. And
Yeah. I think it's,
Yeah.
I mean, because we probably have maybe 3 or 4 different types that we could, if we did a baseline and then you just clone it from that.
Yeah.
Right, I gotta run. Nice to see you all. Nice to have multiple
Okay.
people on the
Goodbye,
call
Francie.
again.
I know, more than one. Okay.
See you
Bye-bye.
guys.
Ebbs and waves.
Oh,
All
All right. Thanks,
Which is
everyone.
nice. We're going to have it slowly. We're having everyone go off at one time, and so now you get to say goodbye,
Yeah, I
and
know.
then I get to
and
say
then I have to
goodbye.
go and do work.
You got to do real work. Sorry about that.
Oh, no. That's all right. All right. Thanks,
It's been
Brian.
helpful. Thanks, Lisa.
All right. See
Bye-bye.
ya.
See ya. And then there was one. I'm just talking to you who's watching the recording. Well done. You made it to the end. And come and join us. You can see it's very easy. So we do it. We rotate between morning, noon, sort of, and night Sydney time. And the idea is that we could pick up some people from Europe at our night one, and we can pick up some people from America on this one. This was an early one, and that doesn't often happen. But at least we're creating the options. So come and join us. We'd love to have you here with your questions, tips, and comments and frivolity. All right.